Hi, everyone. Just wanted to go over some items for this week. Our textbook and our information in the classroom does a pretty good job of talking about um, mission, vision, values, directional strategies, those types of things. So I wanted to just provide some general marketing type information specific to branding and building value, etc. So pretty much everything that we're doing from a marketing perspective is about um, value, building that value proposition. Why is our product valuable? Why does our customer want to come to us for that service instead of elsewhere? So the first thing, some of these things are pretty basic, but this is some information that I use for a more general marketing class, but I think it's helpful here. So, obviously, products, anything that can be offered in a market for attention, acquisition, use, consumption, an actual product, a tangible product, versus what we do a lot in the healthcare world, which is a service. So, services are really intangible, doesn't result in the person owning anything, but so that's why it's so crucial that we provide value to them. So we really want to provide a high value product or a high value service or product if we're selling a product. But either way, we want to make sure that that service is valuable to them, so that even though they don't end up owning anything in the end, they feel that it was worth the money that they spent on that service. So, products and services generally becoming more commoditized, and especially in healthcare, we're finding that as patients become better consumers, things are really becoming more commoditized in the service realm as well. If they have a high deductible health plan, for example, and they have a $3,000 deductible they need to meet, they may bypass our product if they don't feel it's valuable enough to spend their dollars on. So we want to provide an experience for them that is helpful and appropriate, and provides them with some value, even though they're not going to walk away with anything. So just some levels of product, and we can provide these same types of things as services as well. So obviously that core customer value, what is the customer buying, and then the actual product or the service itself. So what is it? What's the packaging? What's the design? How do we provide that product? What is the experience like for the patient? Is the customer or is the provider friendly? Is the front staff friendly? Are they not? All of those things go into that actual product. And then also the quality of the healthcare being provided. But then there's kind of an outer layer, which is an augmented product. And I'll just give an example. We've recently moved here to Florida. I'm seeing a new provider. I'm kind of getting a little bit of the runaround with the office. I'm not with the provider themselves, but the provider's office, the staff there don't seem to be really on their game. And so the one medical assistant called me, reported some lab results, asked if there's a prescription the physician wanted to order. Could the physician order the prescription? I said, yes, of course, that makes sense. Send it to the pharmacy on file, which she said they would do. Then 3 days later, I got a phone call from another MA that said, we just wanted to review the lab results with you. I said, I reviewed them the other day with so-and-so. Oh, no, we don't have that in here. Here, let me review them with you again. And, taking more of my time, which I don't have a lot of time to give. And it was kind of irritating. Went through that whole process again. Still didn't get notification from the pharmacy that the service or that the prescription had been sent in. So I attempted, and this is where the augmentation, it sounds negative so far, but this is where the augmentation comes in. I went out to my app for this particular health system, and they have a care advocate on there that's assigned to me, specific for me. Every patient has a care advocate, and this particular care advocate was right there to chat with me and to help me try and navigate this situation. I reported it to her that I've talked to people twice about this. If the physician wanted to talk to me personally, that was fine. I'm happy to talk to her, but I had approved the prescription on 2 occasions. And as she noted, she wasn't able to see that in the record for whatever reason. The MA, neither MA had made the notes in the record, and that she would resolve it for me. So that was a nice augmentation of the product, that care advocate aspect through the portal on the app itself, so that she could resolve this situation. I didn't need to call back and talk to those same MAs again that didn't do their work right the first time. and it provided me with an enhanced after-sale service experience. Now, if it continues, it's probably, the care advocate is not going to be able to solve every issue, and that's when I would take that to the actual provider and talk to her about it. But seriously, the augmented product can be those things like that: patient portal, extra activities like a care navigator or a case manager that helps to manage your care. Those can be augmentations of our healthcare service product over that. So I'm going to hop through some of these things. I really kind of wanted to focus on branding. So that was, there was some good branding information in here as well. So really, some of the keys to kind of creating a brand are all around delivering what benefits it is our services or our products bring to you. And that branding can drive decision making. So if you're branded as the local, maybe the local Catholic healthcare system or other type of faith-based system, or if you're branded as the local research university, those are really important brands that can communicate to the folks that are looking to purchase these products. What is this? What does this service bring to me that I can't get at this other place? So you want to brand yourself that way. And the reason we're talking branding this week is it really can tie in with your mission, vision, and values. So you really want to brand yourself in and around what it is that you provide through your mission. If your mission is to be a faith-based, let's say a Catholic organization. Duquesne is a good example. It's not a healthcare, but Duquesne is a Catholic university. So they brand themselves around that. They drive business to themselves based on the types of students that want to seek education at a Catholic university. I myself attended Creighton University for my doctorate, and one of the main reasons I chose Creighton is because it's a Jesuit university, and I thought that I wanted to experience that and learn more about about Jesuit pedagogy and Ignatian pedagogy. So it really drove me there. However, there will also be people that will be drawn to, say, Duquesne because of the sports teams. They have great Division I sports, so people may be drawn for that. My son, actually, I and my son both went to Syracuse. I went because I was involved in the music program there, but my son went, and because I love their sports teams, and they had good academics as well. But my son chose to go there because of the sports aspects. He's an athlete, and he played hockey at Syracuse, and so he chose the sports aspect. You may choose. Other people may say they'll choose Duquesne because of its location, right in downtown Pittsburgh. Lots of access to things that are associated with being in the city. Really kind of a unique college situation. A remote campus in the middle of a major urban area. So some people may be driven for those reasons. So you can brand your healthcare in a similar way, branding it so that people are driven to it because you are different than the others in some way, and that's really key. So part of that branding can be in and around something as simple as a box or a logo. The box for your product, and if you're creating services, you're not going to have a box, but if you're creating pharmaceuticals or things like that, you can really create your packaging and labeling in and around your brand. So like Amazon, everyone knows, all you need to do is drive up and down your street, I'm sure, and you can say, oh, look, they got Amazon today, they got Amazon. Everyone recognizes that smiley face on the side of the box, although it is just an arrow, but it looks like a smiley face to me when I drive by, and everyone knows that that's an Amazon package. So those types of things are important. If you like here in this area, Advent Health is the leading health system. And when you see that blue color and their logo pop up, you know it's an Advent Health thing. Even though it's not, they're selling services, their brand is very recognizable in logoing, websites, labeling of things like their app, little flyers that they may give you. They have a very distinctive brand. So that's key. We also talked briefly there a few moments ago about those support services, and this is talking about product support and specifically Lexus in this case, but you can be the Lexus of healthcare as well and provide that higher level, like I had talked about with the Care Navigator or Care Advocate, they're called. But I've seen Care Navigators in other places, case management, even just someone to help people to find. I think UPMC is one where you can just call a line, like a nurse line, and they can help you navigate the system to figure out what type of provider you might need to see. So those types of services, support services, really augment the actual products being created. So a few service characteristics about those types of things that we are marketing that are a service. So they are intangible. Typically, it's not something that can be tasted or felt or heard or smelled before we buy it. We invest our money in that, and then we encounter those things. So it's an intangible product. It's inseparable. So the services themselves cannot be separated from the providers providing those services. So it's not like I can buy, like for example, I have this document camera on my desk, which has been the bane of my existence for the last few days. And I did not purchase it. I purchased it through Amazon, interestingly enough. So the company that makes it is not willing to support it because I bought it from a retailer. It wasn't, but they were an Amazon retailer, and they won't support the product because it's almost like it's a um, secondhand purchase, aftermarket purchase of this document camera. So that's an example of, it is separable. There is that separability from the people that created this camera, IPEVO, and the person that sold it to me. With services, that's not the case. It's not like a doctor can give his knowledge over to someone else who can provide an aftermarket office visit or surgical procedure. Those services can never be separated from their provider, and that has an impact. If your providers don't have a good brand or have bad public relations issues, then that's going to look poorly on your brand overall. Perishability. Obviously, services can't be stored for later use or sale. And then variability in services. I think all you need to do is look at a large physician group and know that there's great variability across services, even when you're only talking about a single specialty. So for example, you may have a wide variety of um, primary care physicians. Some of them may have been practicing for years. Some of them may have just started practicing yesterday. And some of them may be known for providing really high quality care and services. And some of them may be known to not do that or not providing the highest quality or not being as attentive as they need to be. Like the example of my issues that I'm having at my practice. My provider is very attentive and provides very high quality service, but her clinical staff are not doing a very good job. So that quality reflects on that provider as well, and there's great variability in those types of things. So in services marketing, we often need kind of a higher level of understanding the services that we're providing and providing a reason for patients to come back to us. We need to have our contact employees, so our front office staff, our medical assistants, and then obviously our providers really providing a high level of service to folks and really creating a reason for them to come back to us, for our patients to come back. So just a few thoughts on that. Now, the purpose of why I'm going through these slides. So brand strategy, brand equity is really crucial across any type of product or service. We want to create value for our brand, and brand equity is all about knowing that our brand name has a consumer response of some sort. So if I were to say UPMC or Allegheny Health Network, and you're from the Western Pennsylvania area, you know what those are. If I were to say, Mass General or Johns Hopkins or Columbia Presbyterian, those are hospitals in those areas that have a strong brand presence. And like I said down here, Advent Health, very strong brand presence. So that brand equity is that differential effect, that your brand name has an impact coming from the customer, has a response. You want that response to be positive. And when it's not positive, then you have some problems. So you can position brands in all kinds of places. You can create it around the attributes of the brand. You can create it around benefits that your brand can provide, or you can create it around that value structure. So things like your mission and vision. And in healthcare, we do a lot of that, creating it around that value structure. But some brands, and Disney is on this example and is in my face every day here in the Orlando area. Some have really become an emotional attachment and inspire loyalty beyond reason. And up until the recent past, that's the rationale for us moving down here, was that loyalty to that brand. Now, here's a good example of what you don't want to do as a brand. Disney opted for laying off 28,000 people, taking actions against their employees that were not great. Taking people that were on furlough and then just sending them an email that said, "Dear value employee, you're laid off permanently." Those types of things. They really took a bad approach to a difficult situation. Their competitors up the street here in town, Universal, are doing the same things. They laid off lots of people, but they took a professional approach to it. Disney just took a terrible approach to it, and now we went and bought annual passes to Universal, and we've been spending some of our money up there. So that negative thought of the brand, because of their actions, have taken what was loyalty beyond reason, and they've diminished that. There are plenty of folks that are kind of in our friend group down here that have said they're not going back to Disney until Disney makes up for what they did to their employees. So it's you can have those um, truly deep meaning, deeply seated emotional connections to brands. But when that brand does something negative, sometimes your emotional connection will just make that negativity go away. Like, well, I don't care that they did that. It didn't really impact me. But I think now, especially in the world of COVID, we're seeing a lot of um, that emotional connection to not just Mickey Mouse, but to the people that work there. They're the ones that created our experience when we would go to their park, and they honestly, Disney treated them like crap. So it's kind of taken away from some of that emotion, and so that's the type of thing you don't want to do as a brand. If you have such a strong brand, you need to make sure that you are branding appropriately. So that's not as impactful for us, those types of brand issues. But what you can do as a brand is have an overall brand. So, for example, in health, I'll use obviously healthcare examples. This is talking about cars and makes and models, but you can certainly have a brand. So let's say that the brand started out as a single hospital. So we'll call it Champions Gate Hospital. That's where I live, is Champions Gate. So we'll call it Champions Gate Hospital. And Champions Gate Hospital decided that they wanted to expand and start operating some physician practices. So their brand of Champions, so maybe they become Champions Gate Healthcare, and so they are extending their line. So we have the same brand name, but we are creating a brand extension. So it's the upper right hand corner. It's a new product in our brand name. Let's say that we have a need to create a second hospital. We find that Champions Gate has a hospital, but the neighboring town, Davenport, they have a hospital, but it's struggling. Let's put a hospital there. So that could be, Champions Gate Hospital at Davenport or something like that. And that would be a line extension. So we're keeping the brand. The brand is still Champions Gate Healthcare. We're just expanding it. We often talk about these things as vertical expansion or horizontal expansion, or vertical integration or horizontal integration, where we are expanding overall. I don't see very many healthcare organizations going with a multi-brand option, but we did kind of see that with, for those of you that are in the Pittsburgh area, with Highmark Health. So Highmark Health is a very large, very strong Blue Cross and Blue Shield plan that was always Highmark Health. Then there were some local hospitals in the Pittsburgh area, and they're based in Pittsburgh. Local hospitals, Pittsburgh area, having some problems, and so Highmark decided to get in the hospital business. So that's when I think the original one that they purchased was perhaps Allegheny General Hospital, hence the reason that they created the Allegheny Health Network. So it's Allegheny General, West Penn Allegheny, and then a multitude of other hospitals now that they own that are within that overarching um, Allegheny Health Network brand. But so what we see here is actually the um, this new brand option, which is over here on the right hand side, because we have new products because they were an insurer and now they're getting the hospital business, and they really created a new brand around it, the Allegheny Health Network. Now they're still part of Highmark Health, and everybody that's in the area that knows anything about it knows that they are the same. But it's a new brand for them, and if people aren't cognizant of that, aren't knowledgeable of the issues between UPMC and Highmark, and the issues with Allegheny Health Network and the UPMC hospitals, then you may not know about it. But they're excellent case studies to look at for branding, and then also for a multitude of other things with regard to what we do. So thinking about your, we're creating this strategic business plan. And so, thinking about the company or the organization that you're using for your product or project, is this something that you can do in your strategic business plan? Can you create a strategy around extending your brand or creating new or multiple brands or extending your product lines? And if you're struggling with how to move forward with your strategic business plan, maybe think about that. Do you already work in healthcare? And if you're in healthcare in a specific area, where's an area that you could expand to in the area that you work in, or where could a new brand come in and help out to alleviate problems or alleviate access needs, or there's the world is your oyster. There's a million things to choose from, but sometimes extending your brand or extending product lines are good ways to move forward as well in strategy. So that's all I've got. Hopefully you got a little bit of info about branding. It's really in healthcare, we really look at branding, there's some branding stuff in the classroom as well that's a little more basic, but we really tend to look at branding as, um, kind of the um, how does the public perceive your value, your brand value overall, and what can you do to create that value related to your brand? And again, a lot of times in healthcare, the brand is around your beliefs, your value systems, and the quality of your care. And all of that can make or break your brand depending on the situation. So that's all I've got. Hopefully, it's helpful. We will, we'll continue to talk about these marketing concepts probably here on the side a little bit, and the strategy piece is really focused in your textbook as well. So, any questions? Just let me know. Thanks.